What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Blank Online, here today to chat with you more about some Warzone. 1 year of Warzone. Warzone has now been out for a year's time. I played my first game of Warzone, in which I came second. I was doing solo squads and I came second. But yeah, it was my first ever game a year ago today, and I sort of wanted to make a video to look back on the year that's been in Warzone, or the metas, or the changes, and I guess what the future holds for Warzone as a whole. Because obviously Warzone's not going anywhere. If anything, it's just going to get bigger and more important to the Call of Duty machine. So I guess I just wanted to chat about all of that here in this video. I guess let's talk about the first day, or I guess even the first week of Warzone being out. We all knew that Warzone was coming. There was a couple of videos here on my channel where we speculated about Warzone, what it's going to be, what it's going to be called, and when it's going to come out. It was very much a secret. We knew that Warzone was coming, we just didn't know when it was coming, and then there was a timer on Modern Warfare that sort of counted down to the initial release of Warzone. And then Warzone, when it came out, it was a really big thing. It was the idea that you could get Call of Duty for free, and that was an unprecedented idea at the time, that you can get a console or PC full-fledged AAA Call of Duty game for free. Anyone can play it. It's cross-play, so you can play it with anyone, like literally any one of your friends. Everyone can download it. Everyone can play it. It was one of those things where it was a phenomenon, and people were jumping on it, and people were having a lot of fun with it, myself included. Now, Warzone came out at a very, very interesting time, especially in the retrospect of the world's current situation, coming out in this March period when most of the world was going into lockdowns and so forth. It came out at a pretty good time, if I'm honest with you, because it gave people something to do, and that's one of the main things for me as well. I really like Warzone. I think that Warzone is a really good addition to Call of Duty, and in my personal opinion, I like Warzone more than I like Blackout from Black Ops 4, not only because of its accessibility. I like the way and the speed in which the game's played, and I know that there's arguments to say that Warzone's really slow and campy, but I would rather the looting system of Warzone. I'd rather that a lot more than the looting system from Blackout. So your differences there between your Blackout and your Warzone, for me, worked very well. Going into Warzone, I was sort of hesitant because I was thinking, if they make it like Blackout, I'm not really gonna like it as much as I hope I did. And then when we got the actual full-on Warzone game, I was pleasantly surprised to know that the looting system's different and more like a sort of Fortnite type of looting system. We got the loadout drops and all that sort of stuff, which adds a nice little twist to everything. It was fun. It was good. It was a nice little surprise for myself, at least, to know that this game was not going to be so much like Blackout, which I guess also contributed to my enjoyment of the game a lot more than I would have, say, if it was more just like a Blackout copy paste with Modern Warfare elements inside of it. Going more back into the fact that this game released during the pandemic, I think that with you in that situation, right, you get a lot of people who are home, and you get a lot more people who are just sort of looking for things to do. Obviously, because we're in lockdown, there's not much to do. So you saw a big surge in players playing Warzone, and we definitely saw that within the first couple of months of the game launching in terms of player count numbers and all that sort of stuff. The number just kept rising for the amount of people that were playing Warzone. It was the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things back in 2020. Warzone was a massive thing in gaming. Everyone had it, everyone was playing it, because what else could you do, right? It was lockdown. Like, what else could you do? Your buddies are getting on it, your buddies download it because it's free to play, and then they're like, you download it, get on, play with us. It was a good time, honestly. Warzone, the initial sort of, I would say the initial sort of month or two of Warzone being out was very, very good vibes. It was fantastic. My most viewed videos on almost like 300k views was because of Warzone, and that's where I sort of, and Warzone, as well as that, is sort of where my channel kind of revived as well. This year of Warzone, I sort of acted and sort of put it as my year return to YouTube, because I did a lot of my channel initially started with Black Ops 4, and I did a couple of videos, but I wasn't really consistent, and I didn't really continue throughout the whole year. And then Modern Warfare came out, and I did a bit of lead up to Modern Warfare in terms of news and speculation, and then I did a couple initial videos on Modern Warfare, but then I wasn't really consistent, and I sort of fell off with Modern Warfare. And then Warzone came out, and then I came back with Warzone, and then that's when I really started to be more consistent with this thing. And I really attribute a lot of what I'm doing now to Warzone, if that makes sense. I attribute a lot of my sort of success on the platform, although on the surface it may not look like much, but if I'm honest, the stuff that I was doing before, like the Modern Warfare stuff, yes, it was getting views, but it wasn't getting returning viewers. And I think that with the Warzone stuff and what I was doing there in that initial March period, that sort of blew up my channel in ways that I never thought would happen so soon. I guess that's the best way to put it. And to be closing in on 1,000 subscribers 1 year later, it's something that I never thought was going to happen, if I'm honest with you. I think that a lot of my sort of thinking was it's going to be a very slow grind and we'll get there eventually. I think that with Warzone coming in and the popularity of Warzone, it accelerated that sort of rise in, I guess numbers is the best way to say it, but that sort of rise in an audience base and that sort of thing as well. As the game sort of progressed, obviously people got better at the game. You had people arising, people like Vicstar getting really popular on Warzone, people like Aiden, Nick Marks, like all these people, Courage, like all these people, Dr. Disrespect, getting a bigger platform and a bigger audience and a lot more people watching them because of Warzone. And it was one of those things where Battle Royale was such a popular trend back in March of 2020, and then even the year before that. Like Battle Royale has been a popular thing for a very long time now, and I think that with Call of Duty adding their own spin into the Battle Royale mix, it just resonated with people in ways that I don't think any 6v6 multiplayer COD could ever do again, which is unfortunate but a sad reality of a statement to say, because it's free, right? That's the main thing here. It's a AAA Call of Duty title for free. You get this stuff for free. You can play with your friends for free. It's not like you have to pay $60, and that was the big problem with Blackout, right? The problem with Blackout was that it was locked behind the paywall. If Blackout was free, I think that Blackout would have more of a success and more of a fond memory in a lot of people's minds, but it wasn't free. It was locked behind the paywall of buying Black Ops 4. But with Warzone, I think that, as I said, since it is more accessible and since more people have eyes towards it, more people want to get better at the game, more people want to know what the best guns are in that game, it just created this sort of sub-community in the Call of Duty community, not only on YouTube, but on Reddit, on Twitter, all this sort of stuff, which are just exclusively Warzone players. And I don't think a lot of these Warzone YouTubers actually play 6v6 multiplayer. And that's a shame as well. I do have a video coming out in a couple of days where I talk about this, like what's going on with Call of Duty YouTube and how things have changed as a result of Warzone being released, and the current state of things here for YouTubers who do post Call of Duty content. And I think that the release of Warzone, the popularity of it, the accessibility of it, and the amount of people that want to watch content for Warzone has definitely changed and revamped the whole landscape here for Call of Duty YouTube. And I think that more people now, more than ever, only care about Warzone rather than caring about the actual game that Warzone is spun off of, which is Modern Warfare, which is Black Ops Cold War, these sort of things. But I mean, look, as I said, I really like Warzone. I think that Warzone needed to happen, and I think that it happened at the right time, and I think that it's a game that's going to be continuously the most popular and the staple front of Call of Duty moving forward. Activision has already said as much. Activision has already said that Warzone is going to be like one of the most important cogs in the Call of Duty machine moving forward. It's the moneymaker. Warzone is the moneymaker. You see all the casual fans going to Warzone, they buy skins, they buy a battle pass because it's a free game. Might as well spend $15 on the battle pass. Might as well spend $20 on a stupid anime tracer pack skin or like whatever that bullshit is, like that sort of stuff. And I personally would never do, I personally wouldn't do it. Like I personally wouldn't care if some purple tracer round pack came out. I never really got into that sort of stuff, but the casual fan does, and that's where Activision makes their money, and that's why Warzone is so profitable for them, because it's free and then they get the revenue from the microtransactions. And as I said before, talking about the future of Warzone, I think Warzone, as I said, is going to be the staple for Call of Duty to come. I feel like now more than ever, developers are going to start designing their games and thinking not how can we make a good Call of Duty game. It's going to be more about how can we integrate this with Warzone. What's the smartest way of doing this? We've already seen it here with Treyarch with Cold War. Think about all the emphasis that's going towards not only bringing those Cold War weapons into Warzone like they did in Season 1, but as well as that expanding the Warzone universe and the story, and they're creating a new map for Warzone and all the new content they're doing for Warzone, when, as I said in many of my videos before, 6v6 is lacking. 2 brand new maps for 6v6, and we're already halfway through the Black Ops Cold War life cycle. It's a bit of an L there. It's a bit of a, what the fuck's going on when you're focusing on the free-to-play game, when you can't even focus on your own game that you made. It's kind of one of those things where I think that now more than ever, the importance on mainline Call of Duty games is sort of going to be taking a back seat, mainly due to Activision's instructions and mainly due to Activision saying, hey, we have this thing that's making us so much money. Can we focus on that? Can we not focus on whatever new map you want to make for multiplayer, and whatever playlist you want to make for multiplayer? Can you focus now on new content for Warzone, because that's where the players are and that's where the money is? And that's the sad reality, as I said earlier, that's the sad reality of Call of Duty moving forward, and that's the sad reality of the popularity of Warzone, that the mainline Call of Duty games are not going to be as important to Activision as Warzone is going to be, because they don't make Activision as much money. So a year later, Warzone 1 year later, it is still as popular as ever. There was little dips here and there, but it's still as popular as the mainline Call of Duty games. People still playing it. Metas are always changing. The fondest memories for me in Warzone would have been your Growl and your dual wield 357, your snake shot 357s, that sort of meta era. That was really fun for me. And then as well as that, you had the Bruin meta. That was an interesting one as well. Then for a long time, there was sort of this period where it was kind of weird and iffy on what the best gun in Warzone was. Like the Growl got nerfed, but that was still decent. The Bruin got nerfed, but that was still decent. You had the Vector that came in, and that was cracked for a little bit. And then you had the dual wield Diamatis, which was an interesting one as well, because it wasn't as good, but it was alright. It was just an interesting change. There's been a lot of changes in metas here and there, and a lot of the metas changing has to do with Call of Duty YouTubers saying that this is the best gun in the game, and then showing people the attachments, and then everyone's going to use that. I think there was a lot of the period of like the Growl 357, for example, that sort of period in time where everybody was using the same weapon in Warzone. It got pretty annoying as well, because you never saw any variety, and then you yourself, there's no real reason to try anything else, because all you're doing is putting yourself at a disadvantage. If you're not running a Growl, and if you're not running a snake shot 357, you are putting yourself in a losing position. So it's like, why would you do that? You might as well just run the Growl snake shot 357 combo. So everyone did that, and that was the most annoying thing. But during that period where everyone was a bit iffy on what the meta was, when everyone was sort of using different things to try different things, like that foul as well, that was a big one as well. When that period happened, that was a very interesting one, because you saw a lot more variety, and I think that's the main thing as well. One of the biggest criticisms with Warzone is that the loadout drops sort of stop the randomness of Battle Royale, because Battle Royale is meant to be a different game every time you jump in, right? That's the big appeal of it. You may jump on the same location every single time, but the loot that you get is different every time. The way you have to rotate around the map because of the zone closing in is different every single time. But people argue that the act and the element of the loadout drop is the main thing that sort of makes the game very similar every single time. I would argue the loadout drop inclusion is one of the more innovative things, and something that I actually really like here in Warzone. But going back onto that random element, just facing people that are using different things just was a more refreshing thing than seeing the same gun over and over and over again, which is what it was for a lot of periods back within that first year of Warzone. So my hope as well for the next year of Warzone is not only to iron out all the issues and all the bugs that's going on with this game, iron out the cheaters as well. Cheaters and hackers was a big one closing in on the end of that first year as well. of Warzone, and I'd like to see more of a balance in terms of the meta. I don't want to see just one gun dominating Warzone for months and months on end. I want to see a multitude of different guns that are viable, and it's up to the player to pick and choose which one they want to use. So that's what I have for you guys today. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment down below. Let me tell me about your first year of Warzone. What do you think about the game, and what do you think about the game moving forward? Click subscribe if you're new here. As I said, if you want to be one of the first 1,000 people here subscribed to the channel, I do appreciate every single one of you that has done so far. If you want to join up with us, that is very much appreciated. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Can't you see the bandage on my face? Wanna light the city, that's my place. Don't you touch the money, that's my case. Ride around the city like you know the place. Killing everybody like you know the base. Stealing all the cars, then you go race. Fucking everybody, you don't know the name.